Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's 2022 Tournament Game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 28. We're still alive. We're still here. We're still kicking. I keep saying we're still alive like that's gonna change anytime soon, but I think every turn that comes, I'm just waiting for attacks from people that I wasn't expecting, right? Like I'm just waiting to get elfed by Van or to have a doom stack from Ashdod roll into my lands. And that did not seem to happen this turn. So yay! Anyways, turn 28. Let's see how it goes. We summoned some condors and we have our lone Royal Malqui out trying to site search their little hearts out, and we found a magic site in Gulm, a chasm of strange lights. This is good. This is really good. So sites found. I'm gonna try to start doing these things as sites found rather than just gem income, right? Because sometimes there's stuff that's interesting but not gem income. So, but in this particular case, it is just gem income. But it is multiple gem income, because a chasm of strange lights is earth and astral, and that is really cool for us. On two main points, right? We do have a pretty decent amount of earth magic that we have access to. So we have been relatively reliant and will likely be reliant on Ulm for a lot of things for a while. But eventually we are going to want to have our own little construction core. That means needing things like dwarven hammers, earth boots especially, right? And being able to forge other basic earth gear. So having more of an earth income is very, 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 very good for us. Very excited about that. And then Astral is one of our routes into the late game with a couple of different options. Primarily, probably summon Huakas, right? So Huakas are kind of like our top tier, high-end sacred summons. And they cost 15 Astral Gems for 5 of them, or 7 if you're doing it with the Huaka headdress, which you should be, right? But that means, like, that's a lot of Astral Gems. That's a big investment. So we definitely want a pretty decent Astral income. Aside from that, right, we're also, we have a lot of Astral mages, so we're still going to want to do things like Starshine Skullcaps. We're going to want to do things like Crystal Coins, which is going to be Earth and Astral. Very, very happy about that, right? So we've got a lot of desire for Earth and Astral. Very, very excited to get this out of the gate. Somewhat disappointed that we site searched in this cave. I think it's a cave. It's either a mountain or a cave. I think it's a cave. And only got a chasm of strange lights. That is unfortunate. I was really hoping we were going to get 2 sites at least, if not 3, because it is a cave. It's one of the highest chances of sites next to like wastelands and swamps, I think. Right? So unfortunate that we only got 1 location, but at least that 1 location was a pretty good location. Anyways, moving on. We got some battles this turn. We're going to watch our battles first like normal, and then we'll watch the other battles. We have a battle against Yis in Neranthian. Not really a battle against Yis, but we are taking territory back from Yis that we have been told is perfectly valid. So we are getting shot at here, and this is one of those potentially problematic things. Except that, do all Incas have a magic helmet? I think they have crowns. I think other Incas have crowns, but he has a magic helmet, so never mind. Oh, he has a magic helmet because we have a fucking dragon helmet on him. Absolutely. I think Incas just have crowns, so they can get hit in the head and kind of fucked up. So, but with our protection buffs up, we're pretty good, and there's that. So we win there without any real issue. We'll watch the other Yis one. This is the one that we were less sure about because this is our werewolf going up with our wolves, right? Going up against Oh, actually, there's not really much here. So, fingers crossed, right? The issue being is if these wolves get skewered, and they break and run or they die, they can cause the werewolf to rout, which can be a little annoying. They're also significantly faster than the wolf. What we got? Wah. Where are you going? You don't want that. I can promise you. Get your asses back here and kill these guys, damn it. Okay, this is bad because to kill something like a heavy infantry with wolves, you want as many attacks coming in as possible. You want to harass him down, right? So that the wolves have an easy chance of hitting him. And if we had another square right here, almost all of these attacks would be pretty much guaranteed to hit him. He'd be down to like 7 defense skill or something like that, right? Like, so an 11 attack against 7 defense skill is pretty damn likely to hit. But he has higher protection, so we need as many hits as we can to try to roll against that protection to get a good roll and actually deal some damage. These guys fucking off means that we're getting less of those attacks, meaning we're less likely to actually get what we need. Unfortunate. And he chopped somebody up. You motherfucker. Are we on attack rear? I bet we're not on any... that mother... son of a bitch. You fucker. Oh, hey, we routed his... I mean, we don't really want to kill or rout his stuff, in fairness. Well, that's annoying. That's annoying. Did we safely retreat? We did. Okay. Unfortunate. Not the end of the world, but unfortunate. We also attacked in Nifl with our full army, and we are up against wahoo. Okay, we don't care about these guys that much. They should die pretty easily on the drop. A Fire Lord is interesting. He doesn't have any gems, though, so we're not looking at any fire elementals, which we should be fine against anyways. This guy is blood and has quite a few blood slaves. Ah, okay. Let's see what we got going on here. This could be interesting. Raise dead, raise skeletons. Okay, they're not doing anything with their blood slaves. Yup. Bunch of flame bolts coming out. Someone just got fucking roasted. 25. Oh my god! Well, there used to be mages there. Never mind. There are no longer mages there. Yeah, okay. That was fine. 1 Alcac Spearman and 5 Hatan Runa. Very nice. Very, very, very nicely done. Condor is really pulling weight for us there. Very, very good. Okay, cool. Battles this turn versus Indies, 1 win and 0 losses. Versus Yes, 1 win and 1 loss. So unfortunate there. But not too bad is what it is. Let's watch these other battles. We've got Ashdod attacking into Vanheim in the Modern Weld. Okay, we got a big old stack of... This is the big stack of Anakites with the Rephite backups and... Oh no! Oh god! I need a drink. Okay. Okay. Yep, this is what we were talking about, right? Like, this is a big old stack of Einheirs. And it looks like, yeah, they've got Dwarven Smiths back here. They've got a bunch of Lion Tribe Witch Doctors. That's interesting. This is scary, actually. This type of stuff, right? I think is this type of stuff is what sets good players or great players apart from good players. I'll talk more about what the fuck I mean with that here in a second. Let's look at what we've actually got here. So we've got a little bit of PD here. Whatever, doesn't matter. We've got a small communion going on back here. Communion, slave, master. We've even got some blood slaves back here. Interesting. We've got a Vanadrot. Okay. I can assume what's gonna happen there. We've got some Windmasters. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Master. Got luck. Mistforms. Lucks. Earth powers. Okay, here's my assumption. I say my assumption. I've watched this. I know what's gonna happen. But just from looking at things, right? You can tell a couple stuff. This is a lot of air gems. This is absolutely air elementals. And with these blood slaves, what I would assume is gonna happen, because I have watched this, but I haven't paid attention, right? I haven't come in and check. I always just glance at the battles, right? So with the blood slaves, what I'm assuming is going to happen is we're going to get stuff like air elemental, reinvigoration, air elemental, or that type of stuff, right? So that's my assumption there. I don't know what's going to happen with this communion. This is a lot of personal gems, and this is early in the game, so I'm assuming probably something like Howl. And then we've got a lot of point buffing, right? So we've got a Master Smith over here that has some gems, and I don't know if he's going to do, like, Earth Elementals, but, I mean, he just did Summon Earth Power. I'm assuming he's just going to do, like, Strength of Giants and make these vans hit like fucking trucks. And I'm assuming that's what's happening with these Dwarven Smiths as well, right? Strength of Giants, make the Einhir hit like trucks, and that's that. I don't know if Ashdod has anything going on here except for their bless. And if they don't have anything going on, that's not going to be enough. They do have a Legions of Steelcaster here, so there's that. So yeah, this is what I was going to say, or this is what I was talking about earlier this is the difference between a great player and a good player. Lion Tribe Witch Doctors are shitty units, right? Like, they're ass mages. They are. Just on paper, they do not offer you anything stat-wise, right? They are not good researchers. They're not what you would want to spend your gold on as almost any nation. Accepting that, depending on the nation that you are, they are an incredibly valuable resource for one thing, and that is this one nature magic. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, no duh, whatever, right? But a lot of people who play are going to look at one nature, and be like, what the fuck ever, it's one nature, who cares? You're not going to do much with one nature. Okay, what? You're going to do some swarm casting? Cool. What? Fine. Yay. But that's not what's important here. Point buffing is so incredibly powerful in this fucking game. And in this particular instance, when you already, right? You're going to have these groups be on hold and attack. You're going to have 3-ish turns to get buffs off on them. And even a protection buff, right? Which only hits a single square, is still going to hit 3 Einhairs. And that could make the difference, because it could be that after having 4 of these fucking Lion Tribe Witch Doctors casting protection 3 turns in a row, right? You're getting 12 squares of Einhairs protection, and you're that 12 squares of Einhairs, that's what, 39? Bad math? Was that bad math? That's bad math. It's 36. My god. Super bad math. 36 Einhairs, which looks like, I mean, honestly, there are a whole shit ton of Einhairs here. This is probably close to 100 Einhairs. I don't know, 80 Einhairs? I don't know. But even then, right, like 36 Einhairs getting that protection buff is a lot of Einhairs that might not die in a single hit to an Anakite. And if that Einhair doesn't die in a single hit, they go berserk, right? And berserking means they're going to hit way harder, and they're not going to run. So you're going to stack things like summon, you're going to do Strength of Giants, which he has 2 casters here, and he's going to hit the vast majority of these, right? And that's great, but then he's also going to have these other Einhairs that potentially won't die, potentially will proc their Berserker, and hit even fucking harder. Protection 22 is no fucking joke, especially going from Protection 16 to 22. And this is what this Lion Tribe Witch Doctor is for. This is Van specifically going, hey, I'm going to get these Lion Tribe Witch Doctors. They're going to serve a couple purposes for me. They're going to let me site search my territory for Nature 1, which is something that I normally wouldn't be able to do. They also have the shamans for that, but whatever, right? The shamans are doing other things. The shamans are being communion casters, right? And then these Lion Tribe Witch Doctors can serve the purpose of just point buffing. And even later on, you're like, oh, okay, well, fine. They're maybe okay here. But later on, you can give them a simple Thistle Mace and they're Wooden Warriors casters, right? So it's still doing the same thing. It's very, very valuable. You see, and I don't do it enough, right? You see great players making use of indie mages like this in their formations for simple buffs or simple abilities that people will look over or they'll overlook because they're like, I can't do that on all of my units, so why bother, right? Half of my Einhairs, more than half of these Einhairs aren't going to get this protection buff. So what? It's still valuable to get it on the ones that you can get it on. Anyways, I'm talking a bunch of random nonsense. Let's watch this fight. I'm pretty sure this is going to be Van destroying Ashdod here. Gonna have some Strength of Giants come out. Boom, boom. There was one over here as well. We had a Legions of Steel earlier. We got a bunch of air elementals coming down, which is going to just muck up the undead and formations. And, oh, that's horrible. Because here, obviously, Ashdod was... We get a howl? Ashdod was outnumbered to begin with, right? Which was always going to be a problem. But the undead forces getting locked up by these air elementals means these Anakites do not have the support on their flanks that they probably should. These guys are getting mulched. Yep, look at these guys. These guys having the protection, the additional protection means they don't die in a single hit. What is 16 versus 22? He would have lived anyways, right? So he would have actually survived. Because 16 versus 22 is just a 6-point difference. This guy would have lived regardless. That guy would have lived regardless. Okay, this guy would not have lived. This guy would be dead. And he did lose an arm. This guy would have been dead, right? Without that 6-point difference. So, pretty interesting. And even without it, right? Like, these Einhairs are just getting mulched. Or these Anakites are just getting mulched. This force from Vanheim could have taken twice this number of Anakites. I think easily. And that's scary, right? I was talking about this last turn. This is what Ashdod needed to be prepared for, and it does not look like they were prepared for this. And they took the fight, right? Like, this was Ashdod moving into Vanheim territory, and I think closer to Van's capital. So they were trying to threaten Van's capital without an answer to massed Einhairs, right? They had their own buffing going on over here. Legions of Steel, it looks like, right? It's just not enough, right? They needed several more casters involved in this. I bet there's 20 mages on the field for Van right here. Okay, that was a horrible defeat. Yeah. How many mages? 3, 7, 15, 16, 21, 26. Ooh, goodness gracious. 29 mages. Right? Like, Van committed. This is going to be a huge chunk of Van's Mage Corps. And Van committed a lot to this fight. I feel confident in saying that. What do we have? 30 Anakites here? With 36? Van could have taken another 40 Anakites easily if that's all that Ashdod had in there, right? Because if they weren't buffed up, if they weren't getting protection buffs, if they weren't getting like body ethereal buffs, right? Like, that would have been the really, really big thing to really fuck over these Einhairs, right? That is unfortunate. Kind of funny, these flagellants actually got a fair number of kills. But yeah, that is a brutal stomp. This is a lot of Anakites from Ashdod. This isn't like, oh, the majority of their... I bet this is probably the largest stack that he has, right? But, I mean, we're 28 turns in the game, so if he's doing like 4 or 5 of these every turn, he's got plenty of these. But, I mean, you definitely don't want to just lose this, and for almost nothing. I say almost nothing. This was a pretty big gem investment from Van. They did use a lot of air gems for this, but absolutely fucking worth it. Absolutely. Good fatigue. Good on all that. And yeah, it did. I want to watch. I want to watch and see if I was right about the reinvigoration castings. I don't see any more blood slaves, so I absolutely assume that is correct. But Sabbath Master in afterwards. Air Elementals. Divine Blessings. Yeah, we had a reinvigoration pop up there. We have a reinvigoration there. Hal, more. Yeah, this was great. This is fantastic. More elementals, more reinvigoration. Yeah, that was dope. That was some aces fucking scripting right there. Are these guys on advance and cast spells? They are. Cool. And they did. They have these like late option earth elementals to come in as well. So this was a big investment from Van in the terms of gems, but it was absolutely worth it. Van just put the hurt on Ashdod. And now Ashdod, the momentum is going to swing against Ashdod here, right? It's going to be a question of this army can just march towards Ashdod territory, and Ashdod's going to have an answer for what the fuck what the fuck he's gonna be able to do against this, right? There are some things that jump to mind. For me, rigor mortis absolutely comes to mind here. Fatiguing out all of these things. He's still gonna have to worry about air elementals, but his anakites can deal with air elementals, right? And if he can rigor mortis everything else, and his anakites deal with the air elementals, then all of his undead, because Ashdod can produce stupid amounts of undead, and good undead, like these long dead Rephites kick ass. So a rigor mortis play could absolutely just turn around and mulch this army, right? But he's got to have that research, and he's got to have that prepped, and he's got to catch Vanheim with it. So this is really interesting to see how this is going. We've also got Van attacking in the Mighty Pillars. We've got a little Van here with just a single air gem. Blessing, Mistform. Interesting. No equipment, just relying on the Blessing with a Van here is as budget rating as you can get. Using a single air gem for Mistform. That's ooh. This may be a little too budget. Mistform's popped. Oh no, he's got this. He's totally got this. Yep, routed him. Nice. Nice. Good shit. Okay. The Van here wins there. And then we have a battle with Ulm versus Agartha in Trandus. And this is just a scout pinging. Ooh, we've got some troglodytes here. And a troglodyte trainer. Interesting. Where's that? Okay. Cool. Okay, so that's some pretty interesting battles. That battle of Van versus Ashdod is... That's a pretty climactic battle. That is, I think... And where is it? Yeah, it's right next to Van's fucking capital. So Ashdod was here last turn, and then they moved into Bodern Weld and got caught by this army from Van. Meaning, right, like, this was a scenario where Ashdod is kind of trying to project power and pressure Van's capital, completely disrespecting the idea that Van could come out and just chop him up, right? So I'm pretty surprised by that. The Ashdod player I've seen them do some pretty neat stuff, so I don't know if they were just, oh, I need to project, I need to hold this corridor while I ferry in more stuff and get my research up to what I need answers, or to the answers I need. It just, like, I think at turn 28, you had to expect that Vanheim was going to turn around and be like, okay, well, I guess I'm mass producing some Einhairs. I think actually, even without the buffs, like I thought the protection point buffing was really, really clever, very, very nicely done. But even and the air elementals were the air elemental reinvigoration, communioning up, doing howl, that type of stuff. That was all good. That was all really, really, really well done, and it was in preparation of a really big battle. I'm pretty sure you could have just pulled all of that out and just thrown 100 Einhairs, which is what he had, against all of this, and the Einhairs would have just chopped it the fuck up anyways. There would have been way more losses from the Einhairs, obviously, but, I mean, this is like a talked about go-to counter for giants, right? The idea of, oh, like, how do you beat giants? How do you beat Jotunheim? How do you beat Ashdod? Right? Like, those types of... You cut them up. you find a unit that hits hard and hits frequently, and you chop them the fuck up. And this is like one of the known things. So like, I do kind of feel like this was a disrespect on Ashdod's side. Moving, not the war overall, right? But moving closer to Vanheim without an answer to a big ass stack of Einhairs. They should have just kind of stuck around in this area until they had the answers, until they could ferry things forward. They should have played a more defensive style. It's one thing if it was turn 12, right? Like, yeah, sure, rush your giant stack of giants towards someone, like you did with me. But it's turn 28. Van has multiple forts. I think they have a fort up here. They have a fort down here. I think they've got another fort over here. They didn't have this fort. That was mine, and then Ashdod took it. But the point I'm trying to make is even if it's just producing out of their capital, right? They could probably produce. What are we looking at here? Vans do take a lot, or Einhairs do take a lot of recruitment points, so they're probably not producing more than 7 or 8 a turn, right? Like, at most, because this is 3 per, and you're maybe close to 300-ish recruitment points, 200 to 300, depending on your scales. So maybe like 6 to 8, probably. Assuming you also have the resources, which he probably has the resources. And this is pretty likely because, you know, he's going to want to have a lot of recruitment points for Vans, so he probably has the recruitment points for Einhairs. But even then, if this war started, you know, 8 turns ago, or what have you, then that's 8 turns, get a couple of other forts producing as well, and you're gonna hit a stack of 100 Einhairs pretty quickly, and that stack of 100 Einhairs is going to fuck up giants. I say giants. That stack of Einhairs is going to fuck up everything. But it's especially effective against things like giants, because if this same stack of 100 Einhairs went up against a stack of, you know, 100-ish or the equivalent black plate infantry, right? It's going to be a very different scenario. That's not to say that the Einhairs couldn't still win, right? It's going to matter what support buffs are coming down at that point, right? But it's the attack density of the Einhairs versus the lack of attack density, basically, from the giants that is so excruciating to deal with, basically. So, anyways, that was crazy. That was really crazy to watch. Let's continue onwards with this turn. Unexpected event in Noranthian. Treasure has been found. Fuck yeah! Hell yeah! That's awesome. We totally need this. And a cash injection is just, oh my god, it's exactly what we want, right? And the gems are nothing to sneeze at either. Also cool to get a golden arbalist. We'll look at that. Events this turn: 0 negative and 1 positive. We got gold plus 1,065, fire gems plus 1, air plus 1, water plus 1, earth plus 4. Neat. And a golden arbalist. So, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. Let's take a look at that golden arbalist. Magic items. So, this is a pretty neat item. Not commonly seen, at least for me, right? It's got really good range. So, there's that. It's got decent precision. So, that's nice. And it actually does 2 attacks, which is cool. So you actually get get more frequent shots than you would otherwise, on a crossbow at least, because it is still a crossbow, so it like shoots one every 2 rounds or whatever it is. I don't fucking know. It's something weird. So very, very neat. Although maybe the golden arbalist doesn't have that issue, because I don't see it listed here. And it does say it's able to fire and reload several times faster than a normal arbalist. That's kind of cool. Anyways, this actually hits relatively hard and could be good against things like Van Jarls or Van Heers. Obviously, if they put up a air shield, then it won't really do much. But, you know, they have to be thinking, hey, I need to put up air shield. And the first time they walk into a province with a golden arbalest in it, they won't be thinking that. After that, though, they probably will be thinking that. This is really nice, too. Also, you can put this on... Fuck, you can put this on anybody. You can put this on a Karaka, right? And it's got such high precision that he's still actually relatively likely to hit. And it's a magic weapon, so the shit that Van just did against Ashdod with that single air gem doing a mist form won't work in the same way because that magic weapon will fuck that mist form up. So this is neat. Like, this isn't an end-all be-all item, and I don't know that I would mass produce them, but this is an option if you have a good amount of income to be able to be like, yeah, I can put 3 Karakas into a province with a bunch of golden arbalests and start to just shoot any raiders to shit, you know? And that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, anyways, there is that. What do we got going on this turn? It's 36 minutes in the turn. Goddamn. It's a long-winded day. Forgive me. I apologize. We are making attacks across the board. We're scouting around Ashdod and Vanlands to try to keep eyes on what's going on there. Very interesting developments in that conflict this turn. We are hitting 2 Ysian provinces this turn to try to get them back. 1 with our werewolf, and just the fucking werewolf this time. We have left behind the damn wolves. That was the second time we sent the werewolf with wolves. The wolves are worthless. I don't know why. They're not worthless. They're chaff, right? They're there to hold up walls or patrol or tear down walls. All you should use them for. I keep not doing that. We're just sending in the werewolf. The werewolf is probably going to be just fine. Would have been just fine last time. Pachacuti, we're going up to Mammoth Grove. We're going to see how that goes. We are attacking from Nephil into Centennia. This is somewhat dicey. I believe there is a fortification here in Borel. Or Boral. We are trying to avoid any major conflicts. I believe that the big Agarthan army is here on Rim Mountains. We're trying to get there to be able to watch what's going on. And there is a big Ulmish army in the fortification defending against Agartha. So we can see that there are some other forces. I expect these forces to be counter-raiding, right? Not to be going back away from the main Ulmish conflict. So I'm pretty sure that we're not going to run into either of these. But it's possible that there is something from this fortification that is trying to move westward to help in the conflict that we could run into. That being said, what we have, I do think could take a lot of the Ulmish forces, as long as those Ulmish forces aren't packing a lot of heat, basically, right? Like, if we run into 20 mages that are point buffing and summoning elementals and everything like that, yeah, we're fucked. But I think this is a relatively safe call to make. Also, I want to try to threaten this fortification over here, because I need fortifications badly. I need infrastructure. I need territory. So we're gonna try to see what we can do about that, right? And that's the move that we're making. And we got a lot of scouts moving around here to try to help us out as well. We are sending some units, an Apu with a bunch of Hatanruna down here to Mark. This is potentially to help us in raiding, help us in taking down fort walls. or just to start patrolling the unrest down in Mark. Any of the options above I think are useful. And then, yeah, the only other thing we're moving is our Royal Malqui around to continue site searching, so fingers crossed. Hopefully we will do well. Recruitment this turn. We've got 1 Koya, 1 Scout, 1 Pakwo of the Mountains, 1 Karaka, and 4 Sun Guard. So, yay. Not bad. Quite a bit more than we have been recruiting in previous turns. So, let's talk about why we're doing what we're doing for these. The immediate scenario is we have a Inca flying around in dangerous territory, and we do not have a Koya. If that guy dies, we get a shitty Royal Malqui, and we don't want that, right? So we're gonna try to get a Koya out here. We don't want the Inca to die, obviously, but if it happens, we want to be able to get a good Royal Malqui out of it, so we need a backup. Koya it is. Sun Guard, because Sun Guard for life, yo. More scouts, because more scouts for life, yo. And then the last thing was this Karaka, right? And that's because we have some treasury built up, because for the first time we actually can't really do a lot more with our gold. We could recruit some shitty units that we don't care about, but we're getting to the point where maybe we can put down a fortification. Mark is not a great province, but it is a decent location between Agartha, which is a target for us, next to a throne, which could be important later on, etc., etc. So we might drop a fortification on Mark next turn. I don't know that that's going to be the case. I do think that Omeo was a pretty decent province. I think I would rather have something there, especially to try to defend from our coastline from Pelagia, right? But we'll see. We shall see. Other things that we have going on, Nazcan recruits, we got 30 Hatan Runa this turn and 2 Supayas, so there's that. Just moving forward with that whole thing. Happy. And yeah, I think the last little thing to talk about is rituals. More Summon Condors. 1 Summon Condor, and that is it for this turn. I did talk last turn about how I really have been considering doing some more Dark Knowledge, and I do think it likely that we're going to do that in the near future, right? But I am trying to finish off Evocation 5 as quickly as possible, and since I don't have my god researching right now because he's doing mass casts of Summon Condors to try to get us some military strength, we kind of need every point that we're getting, and a Huron Priest is 10 research points, so I'm making an executive decision to which is rare for me, to not invest in site searching for future dividends on gems compared to research. But we really need research to be able to effectively fight against either Ashdod or Vanheim. And I say effectively fight, could we fight this, right? That's the question. Could we fight 100 Einhairs with what we have? This would get murdered. This would just get absolutely destroyed. In point of fact, I would not want to utilize our main army against something like that. But if we had to, I would probably... I would probably prefer that we actually have enchantment 5 for Foul Vapors to do a Foul Vapors play, is what I would prefer. Because again, those Vans aren't going to die to Foul Vapors, but those Einhair absolutely will, right? Anyways, that's pretty much it. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Very interesting developments for Ashdod and Van. We can see Pelagia in the coast creeping up on the side. Things are getting more and more dire. I'm actually expecting us to start seeing in the next several turns. I'm expecting us to see Oceania and Yis be dead. So that is how dire things are from what I have heard, and that is a bad thing for everyone else in the game, because a 3-cap Pelagia around turn 30-ish with no other competitors in the water, and an Agartha being taken out, and a Nazca that's basically crippled, being the other main entities that could potentially challenge underwater. This is a dream scenario for Pelagia. Pelagia should, if they shut this out cleanly, right, against Oceania, and yes, they should be able to just take 20 turns to gear up and do exactly what they want to do, right? Hit the research goals that they want to hit, start summoning things, store up pearls for Stellar Focus, then store up pearls for Arcane Nexus, and then just destroy this fucking game. Honestly, the only saving grace here being that there are no fucking thrones underwater. All 6 of the thrones Pelagia will have to take will be on land, and that is the only, like, saving grace here, right? Because, my god, it would be different if we had expanded better, and we had initiated against Agartha, and Ashdod had been tied up elsewhere, and Van had been tied up elsewhere, and we kind of like won a good war with someone's aid, Ashdod or Ulm's aid against Agartha, and we were doing good at this point, right? Rather than playing an extreme amount of catch-up, it might be a different scenario, because we might be producing, 6 to 8 Supayas per turn. And 6 to 8 Supayas per turn can turn into this force of 100 Supayas pretty quickly. 100 Supayas can do a lot of fucking work underwater. Though, from what I've seen of or heard of Pelagia's Bless, we might need a lot of assistance underwater, because Pelagia's fucking Knights of the Deep, these guys are no fucking joke. And with a good Bless, which I think, let me check and see if I actually have notes on. I think I got notes from Yis on Pelagia's Bless. Minions, 2022 tournament. Opponents. Pelagia. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. They've absolutely got a bitchin' Bless. I say a bitchin' Bless. It's pretty good. It's pretty strong for these guys. They've got attack 4, right? So absolutely hitting on most of these. 17 attack on this lance charge, 16 on this alicorn, 16 on this bronze spear. Good shit. Very, very good shit. They have shock 10, poison 10. Which is nice defensive stuff for them, because fire's not going to do a lot underwater. They don't have cold, so that is somewhat of a potential issue for them. Defense skill +2, so 19 defense skill out of the gate without any experience pips, so pretty damn strong. Strength +2, so strength 15, meaning these are going to hit decently hard. Blood Surge, so when they kill something, all of that is getting amped up. Dark Vision, so darkness plays and things like that aren't going to be nearly as useful. And Farcaster, actually, and that's scary, because that means a lot of their really good mages, they have the Amber Clan Mage, which is really good, the Pearl Mage, which is really good, the Mystic, right? All of these can be suddenly turned into the dreaded kind of like Frozen Heart cannon, basically, which is kind of, oh my god, I hate it so fucking much. It's so good. It's so good. The Pelagian Mermage, like all of these guys, just Frozen Heart spammers from here till sunrise, right? Like they're gonna fuck me up. They're gonna fuck me up. I know it. This is exciting stuff, y'all. I'm gonna say this, right? Trying to stay in the right headspace, right? Go from inconsequential to an annoyance. I'm just happy to be in the game at this point, 27 turns in. I really started this game assuming that I was going to get... Assuming, right, that I was going to get surrounded by 4 people and just get destroyed. And that kind of happened, but not exactly. But somehow we have managed to survive. and we just get to keep watching cool shit happen, right? Like, I don't know how relevant we will be ever in this game, but the longer we can stick around, the more cool shit like Van versus Ashdod or Ulm versus Agartha or shit like that we can show off. And that's cool. I'm excited for that. Anyways, this has been a long-winded video. I apologize. That's gonna be it for this one. We'll see you back next time for more for more Nazca. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.